If you are smart, capable, and accomplished on paper, you'd think that feeling self confident would be easy by now, right? You've probably earned all the degrees, led all the projects, navigated difficult seasons, and made it through to the other side. Maybe logically, you know that you should feel confident, and yet you second guess yourself before you speak up. You over prepare for everything and still feel like an imposter. You replay conversations and presentations in your mind, critiquing practically every little word. If that sounds like you, I want you to know that there's nothing wrong with you. What's usually going on underneath is this: your nervous system doesn't feel safe enough for you to experience the confidence that you know logically you've already earned. Plus, confidence probably isn't the piece that you're actually missing. Let's talk about why. Feeling confident versus self confident. Here is why that distinction matters. Most people use the terms confidence and self confidence interchangeably. However, they are not the same thing. Confidence is based on experience from your past. Might sound like I've done this before and I know how to do it, so I know I can do it again, right? That's confidence. Self confidence, on the other hand, is based on self trust. And it might sound like, even if this is new or uncertain, I trust myself to navigate it and take care of myself the best I can. You can have a long list of accomplishments, which is related to confidence, and still feel shaky inside if you don't trust yourself to handle whatever happens next, which is self confidence. Here is where your nervous system comes in. When your body is stuck in a chronic stress response, it does not care about your resume and your qualifications. It only cares about one thing, and that's, am I safe right now? If the answer to that question feels like no to your subconscious and your nervous system, then self trust and therefore self confidence becomes much harder to access. Let's talk about nervous system dysregulation in plain language. So, for this video, here's how we'll define nervous system dysregulation. It's an imbalance where the body's stress response system operates predominantly in a high alert or shutdown state, also called hyperarousal or hypoarousal, often due to chronic stress or trauma. In real life, that can look like feeling like you have to be on all the time and struggling to relax. It can look like constantly overthinking what you say and do. It can look like feeling jumpy, tense, or easily overwhelmed. It can look like overfunctioning, which is where you take on excessive responsibilities. Or on the other side of the coin, it can look like feeling flat, numb, checked out, disconnected, or unmotivated. Nervous system dysregulation is not a character flaw. It's your system doing exactly what it learned to do to keep you safe, especially if you've experienced chronic stress, burnout, or trauma. Here's the problem: a chronically dysregulated nervous system can cause your self confidence to feel fragile, no matter how capable you actually are. One way that I like to talk about this with clients is through the security guard metaphor. Imagine that part of your nervous system is kind of like a security guard whose job is to protect you. When things are going well, your security guard is calm but attentive. She scans the room, notices what's happening, and steps in when she truly needs to alert you to the presence of danger. When you've been under a lot of stress or dealt with painful experiences in the past, or you operate under a self-doubting mindset, your security guard can become overprotective. She starts sounding the alarm more often and more loudly, even in situations where you aren't actually in danger. A dysregulated nervous system is like having a security guard who either overreacts to every possible risk, which again is called hyperarousal, or shuts everything down to keep you from getting hurt, which again is called hypoarousal. Either way, she's doing her best to protect you. However, her behavior has consequences for your self confidence. Let's talk about why thought work feels like it doesn't stick when your nervous system is dysregulated. If you've read self help books, taken courses, or tried to work on your mindset in an effort to feel more self confident, you might have had an experience similar to this. You understand the concepts, you can repeat the affirmations, maybe you can even explain exactly why your negative thoughts aren't true from a logical perspective. And yet, when it really matters, before the presentation, after the difficult meeting, at night when you're replaying the day in your mind, you don't feel any more confident. You actually experience a ton of self doubt still, despite all of the mindset work that you've been trying to do. For a lot of my clients, this is the pattern. When their nervous system is dysregulated, traditional thought work often doesn't stick. And that's not because they're doing it wrong. It's actually because they're trying to change their story, they're trying to change their mindset, while the security guard is still convinced that they are in danger. And as long as your security guard believes you're in danger, she is not going to give you very much access to that thinking part of your brain. When your system is in a state of high alert or shutdown, your body is preparing to protect you, not to help you think clearly about the long term impact of your decisions. Your attention and focus lock on to potential threats. And that might sound like for perfectionists, what if I mess this up? Or what if people judge me? When that security guard is in charge, positive and more balanced thought processes can feel fake, forced, or even out of reach. You can't positive think your way past a security guard who is actively pulling the fire alarm. Let's talk about two common scenarios where this tends to show up. How about the overpreparer who still feels like an imposter? For example, you have a big meeting, a presentation, or an important conversation coming up. So you triple check your slides or your notes, you try to anticipate every possible question, and you practically memorize everything you want to say. On paper, yes, you're ready. But inside, you feel like you're one tough question away from being found out. Maybe your heart races before you speak, and maybe you walk away thinking, I probably sounded ridiculous, even though everybody else seems to be pretty satisfied with how you did. This isn't a lack of skill. It's a nervous system that has learned that visibility is risky, being wrong is dangerous, and that you need to be perfect or you're not safe. Your security guard is working overtime in this situation. She's scanning for anything that could go wrong and pushing you to overprepare because she thinks that will help you stay safe. No amount of thinking to yourself that you're qualified will ever fully land while your body is still bracing for the impact of the danger it thinks is coming. You don't feel self confident. Instead, you feel a ton of self doubt because the security guard is driving your thought processes. Next, let's talk about the presenter who relives every tiny little flaw in a presentation afterwards. Let's say you give a presentation, you lead a meeting, or you share an idea in a group. Objectively, it goes fine. Maybe it even goes great. But afterward, your mind starts replaying the entire thing. You might ask yourself questions like, why did I say that? Or I sounded so unsure. Or, oh gosh, I forgot that one point, and now everybody's going to think I'm incompetent. In this case, you're stuck in a loop of self criticism, analyzing every micro moment. From the outside, it looks like rumination or perfectionism. On the inside, however, it's your nervous system, that security guard, trying to protect you. Your security guard is reviewing the security tape, looking for anything she thinks could be used against you in the future. She thinks that if she can spot the mistakes now, maybe she can prevent pain later. As I said earlier, thought work alone, telling yourself things like, it was fine, everybody messes up, a lot of times that doesn't fully land if your body still feels like something dangerous just happened. In other words, if your security guard is pulling that alarm. Next, let's talk about three common myths that can make the process of building self confidence even more frustrating when your nervous system is dysregulated. Myth number one: if I just thought more positively, I'd feel confident. Mindset tools are powerful, and I use them with my clients all the time as a life coach, but they're only part of the picture. If your security guard is in full on alarm mode, trying to think better thoughts is like trying to reason with someone who is sure that the building is on fire. You need to help them calm down first and then have the conversation about what's actually going on and what the real risk is. Similarly, your nervous system needs to feel safe before you'll be able to build your self-confidence. Myth number two: if I were stronger, I wouldn't feel this way. Feeling on edge or overwhelmed or shutting down, those are not signs of weakness. Rather, they're signs that your system has been carrying a lot, often for a long time. chronic stress and trauma, including the everyday or cumulative stress, not just big, obvious traumatic events, can train your nervous system to be significantly more protective than it needs to be in everyday situations. You are not broken for feeling this way. You're actually adapted. Myth number 3, nervous system work is only for people with big trauma. You don't need a specific label or diagnosis to benefit from nervous system regulation. If you live with constant self-imposed pressure to perform, or if you rarely feel truly rested, or if you feel like you're always bracing for something bad to happen, your system deserves care and support regardless of whether or not it fits into some category. So, what can you do to feel more self-confident? Here's the part I want you to really hear. If your nervous system is dysregulated, it makes complete sense that self-confidence feels hard no matter how accomplished you are. You are not broken. You don't need to try harder. For sure, you don't need to bully yourself into just being a more confident person. What you really need is an approach that encompasses both your thoughts, beliefs, and stories about yourself and the current state of your nervous system and your inner security guard. That's why in my coaching work, we don't just talk about mindset in isolation. We look at how your body responds in stressful or vulnerable situations, what your security guard has learned to protect you from, and how it impacts your life today. And we look at how to support your system so you can access self-confidence more consistently. As you work to build self-confidence, it's important to understand the bigger picture. Self-confidence isn't only a mindset issue, it's also deeply connected to how safe your nervous system feels. When you start to work with your body and your mind together, self-confidence becomes much more accessible and much more sustainable. Now, if you're watching this video thinking, this is me, on paper, I should feel confident, but inside I feel shaky, exhausted, and full of self-doubt, I have great news for you. You don't have to figure this out alone. In the Self-Confidence Edit, my 12-week one-on-one coaching program, we blend mindset work and nervous system regulation so you can understand why your security guard reacts the way she does, learn how to support and regulate your nervous system in ways that fit your real life, and rework the beliefs and patterns that keep you overpreparing, overthinking, and second-guessing yourself. And all of that results in building genuine self-confidence, the kind rooted in self-trust, not perfection. We'll work together to help you soothe and retrain your security guard so she feels more safe more often. I can help you start relating to yourself with more compassion and kindness, and you'll learn how to show up in your personal and your professional life without needing to feel like you have to be perfect to feel safe. If you'd like to explore whether the Self-Confidence Edit is a good fit for you, I would love to talk with you. Visit my link in bio or the description for this video and click on the link to schedule a free consultation. During your consultation, we'll look at what's going on for you, what you've already tried, and what kind of support would make the biggest difference, whether that's coaching with me or another next step. You've already proven you're capable. Now it's time to feel that way on the inside, too. My name is Amy Shield. I help smart, capable women feel as confident on the inside as they look on the outside. Thank you so much for checking out my video today. I hope you have an amazing day. Bye-bye.